Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, welcome to the Paperstac Podcast, where we cover current topics in the note industry, give you tactics for your note business, and talk with industry leaders to make you a better note investor. And now, your hosts, Brett Berkey and Rick Allen.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Paperstac Podcast. I am Brett Berkey. This is Rick Allen.
Rick Allen, that's the name they gave me.
That's the name I gave you.
Rick Allen.
Rick Allen.
They can run it together, Rick Allen.
So it's been a bit. We've been busy.
But you know what? It's been a bit since we've done this. We've been things, family, kids, spring break. I go to pick Brett up today, and he comes strolling out to the car, and I go look at his shirt, and I go, Still on the same page. Still on the same page.
Same pants. Totally random. It was just kind of totally random. So
it looks like we're working at Best Buy.
We've seen a name tag.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll.
So we went to IMN, which was great.
Oh, fantastic!
It wasn't far travel for us, which was awesome. It was right here in Orlando.
We call those home games. We had a home game.
Yeah, that was fun. But it was funny because my wife's like, "What? Are you gonna help? Pick up the kids? Or are you gonna do this or do that?" And I was like, just pretend I'm in New York. Just pretend I'm in Orlando, but like I'm in New York. I'm at a conference.
I just happen to sleep at home tonight.
I'm just gonna sleep at home, but don't ask, don't check when I come home. But well, that was good-ish, decent time. So
yeah, it was good. It was. What'd you learn? Anything?
I mean, I learned a lot. Not a whole lot about notes in specific, but like accelerated IBC policies and stuff to do, like stuff with different apps like Prosper and just fun stuff from someone like that at the bar was letting them roll, and I was like taking in all the knowledge. I was like, this is good. So
yeah, I heard. So they were talking about one of the topics that just about any time you go to any sort of note conference, defaulted or anything like that, it's always inventory. Where's the NPL inventory coming? Mm-hmm. And it's funny. 4 years ago, they were like, "Well, it's got to come soon. We've got this, we've got that." And now it's been a bit of like, "Well, it's a slow-moving process. It's a big train. It doesn't all just get rolling at once." My crystal ball's in the shop. I don't really.
I did
know.
hear that one.
Yeah, I don't really know. So it sounds like end of the year, but
I said more. I thought they said 2024.
2020 end of the year, 2024.
Yeah, something like that.
So they said it's just a really slow-moving process. So who knows if that's, if you're tuning in for the update on IMN, that's one thing I did take away from it. We had a great panel on technology, and it's crazy to see how much technology is coming into the space.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, it's good. Good stuff. Anything else? Got to see some of the old warrior soldiers we get to hang out with.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
You got to go out and do a little bit more than I did. I had to...
You had to dip, but me and Patrick Franz had a fun time, and then it was good. But then by the second day, of course, I'm in, you stick around till like noon, and then whatever. Got to see JB Bateman, Chris Sebney, and a whole bunch of other people. It was a good time.
Yes, we did. So it was good, a lot of fun.
Yeah. So one of the things.
What's today? What do we have?
So it's one of those topics that are kind of cliche, but it's like someone asked, he was like trying to learn about notes, and he's like, I learned best by understanding your experiences and what you know now to what you would have done differently if you were in my shoes starting out. Like from I can learn all I need to know about what is a note, what's a mortgage, all this the technical whatever stuff. But knowing all the stuff you know now years later, looking back, if you were to go back and start all over again with the knowledge, what would you do differently? What hurdles would you start first, or what would you avoid? Would you stick with strictly a certain strategy? I mean,
I would. Okay. What would I do? First thing I would do is I would start off the rip with professional servicing. I didn't do that for the first year probably the first year and a half. We did our own servicing, and by own, it was like by own servicing. I mean. I don't even know.
You were buying NPLs though, right? So
yeah.
That servicing was being done. The loss mitigation, huh?
Well, yeah, loss mitigation, we did all that, which was great. And that's one thing I would always do is like I would find a way that you could implement your own loss mitigation stuff. But on the servicing side, like that first year and a half, I didn't have any. that I had to take to foreclosure.
Right.
Because had I had to go to foreclosure with any of those in the first year and a half, I didn't have servicing records. I mean, I had they would give me a spreadsheet when I would buy it and tell me, here's all the balances as of now. But I didn't have a spreadsheet that I was like, monthly accounting, okay? They were $138,000 in the hole last month. This month, there were $138,800 of them. I didn't have all that.
Didn't you guys try to do your own servicing in the sense of like getting mortgage office and?
We were going to do it. We bought mortgage office. We were going to do our own servicing as a way, more so just as a way to like kind of manage investor funds and all that stuff. And so we could have done it. It was a robust program, and we were.
Did you guys ever use it?
We used it a little bit, but it was a lot, so we just never used it. And basically, I was like, well, we can sit here and do this and pay somebody to do this, or we can just pay, $65 a month per loan to somebody. And once you get to a certain, if you got 10 loans, it's if you get 100 loans, you're like, that's $6,500 a month. It would make sense if they're non-performing, it would make sense to go ahead and use the mortgage office and have somebody do it. But we never really got into it. So I would just say, look, it's easier to use a professional servicer. Let them handle it. That is like the thing I would go back and tell myself. I would say also we were doing NPLs and having great success at it. We were having fantastic success at getting people to sign the house over. And I went through like 2 foreclosures. It took just forever. I ran into a couple of borrowers who were just like, they didn't want to give the house up. And one of them was pretty savvy. And so we, at that time, got some education on the performing side, and we started going into the performing side. And we kind of did a complete pivot.
This isn't the one out of Tennessee, right? Kentucky.
Well, that was one of them. That was definitely one of them.
This one took like years, and the guy went back and forth.
Yeah, there was a guy out of I think it was St. Pete Beach or Clearwater. It was somewhere on the East Coast. It was a settlement house.
What does that mean?
Florida, we have settlement, the foundation cracks, like that kind of stuff. And he had gotten insurance for it to remedy it, and we ended up working out a deal with him where he owed like $400,000.
Oh, jeez.
But we only were into it for like $150,000, and so we got him to pay us off at $180,000, and then he held on to it for like I think 12 months, and then turned around and sold it for like $330,000 or $340,000. So that was one where like the foreclosure, we had to like stop it and restart the foreclosure, and we were going to be on the hook. Like he was suing us for wrongful it was a mess. He was a savvy borrower. So another thing I would do is I would look at if there's a foreclosure already started, I would look through the foreclosure file, look through the foreclosure case, have your attorney do it to kind of get an idea of what you're buying.
Did you not?
No, we would look at foreclosure, but I would look, okay, foreclosure's already started. Where are they in the process? Like, how far along are they? Was the extent? I wasn't going through the legal files and saying, okay, did they file the proper motions, or is this the proper X, Y, or Z? There was one like that.
So that's what you would do first. Definitely servicing so far.
You would read through I would have somebody, if it's an NPL and there's enough juice on it, I'm going to buy it and there's a foreclosure started, I am looking through that. And then I wouldn't just, also one other one I mentioned was, I wouldn't just say, okay, I'm just buying performing or I'm just buying this. I would have a main strategy, but I would also, the foreclosure things are the ones that you can get deed and lose on. Those are nice because you can get big chunks, right? You can get chunks of capital, and you can have your performing stuff that's coming in and paying the steady Eddie bills, but the big chunks to keep them coming. Yeah, you can get the non-performing stuff. So,
but ideally, you got to caveat that too. If you're buying non-performing, you better have some kind of real estate background.
You better have a real estate background. That helps. At the time when we were buying the non-performing stuff, and we were really, really successful, it's because we were all in Orlando, right, or in the surrounding areas. It was something that if I had to, and at the beginning I did it, but the further along we got, I stopped doing it. If I had to, I would drive to the people's house and talk to them.
Right. There's one like over which no one's gonna know where this is at, but East Orlando, right? We actually walked up to the door.
Yeah.
And he basically said, "I own your house. Here's a check for 10 G's."
I met several times. I think the biggest check we wrote was like 20 or 25,000 to somebody to get out. And they didn't want to get out, but we were like, "Look, I'm gonna foreclosure. I'm gonna give you 25 grand. Take your pick." And they took the 25 grand and left. And we turned around and resold it like
Immediately.
And
how much did you make?
Probably like 85. Something 85 grand on that.
Minus the 20, or is that?
No, that's our profit.
Oh wow, okay.
That's why you write a check, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna write you a check for 25 to make 80, 85, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was really good. Anyways, I would like I said, big chunks coming in.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Another thing I would tell myself is, if it's a non-performing loan, be wary of the small balance stuff.
Because legal fees are going to cost the same.
Legal fees are going to cost the same, and if it's in, you could have a $50,000 loan that's carrying $4,000 a year in taxes, and if you're in the Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and which that's fine as long as you're not holding it for too long. But think about it: if it's a $50,000 loan and maybe the house is worth $60,000 or $70,000, I mean that's a pretty healthy chunk of It's not quite 10%, but it's or it's a little over 10%, under 10%. Yeah, but it's still pretty. I mean, it's pretty hefty. It adds up, so that can kind of eat into your cost quickly. And then I gotta tell you, I can't tell you how many houses that had basements I've had that flooded, and that is awful. That is like to fix that. It'll kill you. It will kill you. So I have a rule for me that I'm not buying anything else that's small balance and
has a basement.
It has a basement, just because.
Why is it the basements always flood?
They're underground.
Well, that's just. Yeah, I guess we live in Florida. We don't have a whole lot of basements.
No, we have walkout basements where there's a hill and they just dig out part of the hill and they build the house into the hill, so you kind of are walking out one side.
That's true. Or storage unit. Storage shed. That's not a basement though. I guess you store stuff in there. It's like an extra garage. Same kind of thing, right?
What are you talking about?
A storage unit thing. Not a storage unit. What do you call the sheds?
Storage shed?
Yeah, put your
lawnmowers and stuff in.
Yeah,
but those are not underground.
Yeah, I know. That's real above ground. I don't know. Not the same thing. All right, so you keep going. You have the servicing, hybrid approach of performing and non-performing to keep the big wins and small little base hits. Servicing, going through foreclosure notes, making sure a lawyer reviews it or understanding how to read all that legal jargon. Mm-hmm. And then, lastly, anything else? I'm waiting for you to say it. I know you're going to say it.
What?
Get some education.
Well, get some education, of course.
That was
on the education front, there's kind of two ways. There's two schools of thought, right?
Right.
There's a school of hard knocks where I'm going to go in there and I'm going to figure it out, which
costs a lot more money.
That's what we did the first year and a half, and we're very, very lucky. The time that we jumped into it, stuff was selling at 10 cents on the dollar or 12 cents on the dollar.
You had a lot of...
So you had a lot of cushion, right? Mm-hmm. If I was buying something, I was buying 250,000 houses, or I was buying notes on houses worth 250,000, and I was buying them for 120 or 110. Mm-hmm. So I was literally like 50 cents on the dollar for the big stuff, the good, like...
Those are performing or non-performing?
Non-performing. Like the goods, man. I was paying 50 cents on the dollar for the goods back in 2012, 2013. Nice. So there was a little more room for error. Mm-hmm. And it was the times. Like, things were, things had been bad for so long, and the borrowers or the houses that we were buying, they knew.
Yeah.
They had been living with it for years. They knew. They're like, I haven't been paying they were just waiting. So when you get to them and you talk to them, you're like, hey, it's time. Right?
Yeah.
It's time.
So been paying we had for 7 years.
We had all that kind of working for us. So you could afford to have, everything was just kind of a perfect storm. Now it's like, you have to be measured in your steps. You have to be measured in your investments. Still great investments, but you have to have some education, right? It's not it's a different investment climate right now. So I would say definitely get educated, so you understand what you're doing. And I maybe contradicted myself a little bit because I'm like, pick a strategy and go with it. And I still believe that if you're new to notes, you should have that. Just this is my strategy. But one of the things I've always looked at is I'm always like, if everybody's buying NPL, then I'm gonna shift I'll buy some performing. If people start shifting over to performance, like I'm looking for the NPL stuff. I'm trying to fish where nobody else is.
That's smart.
So that's one of the things I would say. Yes, pick a strategy, but also once you're seasoned a little bit and you can kind of see opportunity, don't be afraid to take an opportunity if you can execute.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So that's a good list. So we got servicing, foreclosure, education, opportunity cost of going one direction over the other, and having a hybrid approach. Some performing, some not performing, judicial, non-judicial.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm sure you missed stuff and you paraphrased wrong, but it's good.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right.
We had it was funny, kind of tying this up, wrapping on that. I was at my daughter's softball tournament where I was watching one of our 12U program play, and I was talking to one of the guys there, and he's a buddy of mine. He's from Claremont, Brandon, and he was. We were sitting there just talking, and we were talking about something with a discount card or something like that. And he goes, "You guys should talk about that on your next podcast." I'm like, "What do you podcast? How do you know I have a podcast?" He's like, "Oh, I listen to it all the time." He's like, "You guys have such a good flow. You guys could talk about the traffic," and I would listen. He goes, "It's like you guys it's perfect the way you guys work together." I was like, "Man, that's like the best compliment I've had." I was like, like, hey, you could talk about the traffic, and I would listen.
That's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, we flow so well. We wear the same clothes. Didn't even plan it.
That's crazy.
I mean, I didn't even know you had that color shirt.
We normally just, I don't want to spoil it for you, but sometimes we record 2 of these in one day or 3 of these. Yeah. So I'm gonna change. Hey, let us know if you'd like a salmon colored shirt. We have several of them we could give out.
Salmon. It was supposed to be orange. It looked more orange on the website when I ordered it, and I showed up and it was a salmon.
It looks like perfect salmon. It says salmon.
I think it said, no, it didn't say salmon. It said something else. It looked orange. Maybe it was just my screen resolution, but I've done that before too when I ordered stickers. I thought the screen on there they were this big.
They're this big. You couldn't read them, but they're perfect. They're actually the perfect graffiti stickers or whatever. Because you could run and I would just put them on people's my friends' cars. I'd bumper sticker them and they would never. And it would just sit there forever because they wouldn't see it. And I would go to gas pumps. I'd put.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I was everywhere.
That's funny. Yeah.
Because we had a bunch of stacks of them.
Yeah, we had a bunch of.
I mean, we had a lot. We probably had 500 of these things that were just this big and that big, and they just said Paperstac on them.
Yeah, the funniest part was Mike's reaction when he saw what I ordered and when we got it in, he was like, "What's that?" They were so small. I mean, it looked big, and maybe my screen resolution, right? We had it zoomed in too far. I don't know. I probably should have looked at the dimensions, but I wasn't paying attention.
Details, Brett. Details.
That's details. Yeah.
Anyways, so, well, that's it.
Soon as we're gonna have DME.
DME. Yes, I won't be there, but Brett and Mike will be. Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Smashville. I'm really jealous about that.
Yeah, I talked to Nathan. It's not too far from the main strip, I guess. So.
Yeah, it's not. I think it's a 15-20 minute ride to get there, maybe less. I don't know. It's in June, right?
It's in June, 2nd or 3rd. There's the night before. There's an axe throwing competition.
Dude, I would come there and just smoke it at that. I'm so jealous.
So that's pretty cool. You can find it at Diversifying Mortgage Expo. We'll put a link to it in the comments.
Yep, in the show notes.
But yeah, so again, like always, if you have your own questions and
I'll be at a concert. It's a 4-day
that
Gulf Coast Jam concert in Panama City Beach.
You already go to that.
Yeah, normally I would go to the other one they had, which is Sand Jam, which was kind of like the late 90s, early 2000s alternative punk, alternative rock bands would be there. So the guys that are getting older now, they would go and play, but it was doing good, and then COVID hit. But now the Gulf Coast is going to be Morgan Wallen. It's just all country, but it's gonna be good.
That's cool.
It's gonna be real good.
That's cool. Yeah, we're gonna have fun without you. We'll have some barbecue without you.
Yeah.
Listen
to some live music.
listen to some live music. Maybe go ride on a boat. I mean, it's only a couple days, so.
Ride on a boat.
Well, they have the river there, right?
Yeah.
Don't they have like the big boat?
I don't know. If I go to Nashville, I wouldn't be like, hey, I guess a riverboat is what you're talking about.
Riverboat cruise or something?
Yeah, cool.
I don't know, probably not. I always have great ideas, and then we get there and I don't do any of them. So, but that's that for this one. If you are looking for education, of course, you know where to find some in the Paperstac Academy, which is linked below. And if you have a topic you want to cover, he will answer it, and I will listen. So that's it for this episode. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Thanks.